and I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping to keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom, and we are working hard for you here at Florida's Voice and Right Line News. That's right. We've got our other venture that we've taken upon. We have our other adventure we have taken upon. Dude, that's not even a sentence. That's not even a thing. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have put it that way.
Yeah, okay. We got a new venture. It's called Right Line. It's a national program, and we do it on the weekends. And the weekend is coming up very, very soon, as you can tell by the date today. So coming up Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., you can watch us right here as we do the national stories. We call it Right Line, your national voice. We stream live at Right Line News on X and Facebook and Instagram. You can check out the stories we work on in the newsroom, rightlinenews.com, and on radio stations across the country. So the 2-hour program, it'll be on in a town near you, in a city near you, and a state near you. So Right Line. Streaming live Saturdays on social media at X, Facebook, and Instagram at Right Line News. You can check it out, and then across the country on radio. There you go. Just wanted to start with that. I don't even know what day it is. It's Thursday, right? It is Thursday. Okay.
It is. Happy Thursday.
Thanks so much. Okay. We're just trying to figure it all out. Coming up, our good friend David Moulton is going to join us. He from the Miller and Moulton program. We're going to talk a little bit about Tampa Bay and the Tampa Bay Rays and what exactly is going on with this new, what is it? Is it a new agreement? Is it Hillsborough getting this land for a new Rays stadium? And what does that look like? And what does it mean? We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. But first, I don't know if you know this, but Hillary Clinton's in the news. I know. So Hillary's back. She's in the news. Why is Hillary in the news? Well, it's been a lot of back and forth. And, hey, can we have her and Bill together testifying on Capitol Hill? Well, why don't we subpoena them and make it so that they'll have to... well, maybe we'll just do it from Chappaqua. Maybe we'll just go to their place. Which kind of... that upsets me, D. I have to admit. So you had James Comer. We want you both in front of the House Oversight Committee because we want to know exactly what you know under oath about the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and some of the things that he has done in the past. And what you know, we've got some questions. And, they're like, and next thing you know, everybody's going to Chappaqua. They're going to New York, to their home in New York. And to make it nice and comfy and easy, by the way, there's TVs in there, but you can't see what's going on. So it's transcribed and it's videotape deposition. And that kind of upsets me. I wanted them to be there in Washington, D.C., but no, for some reason, that's not going to happen because apparently Democrats and the Clintons are better than you. That's how that works. Could have been anybody else, but nope. So they're in Chappaqua. All right, it's about an hour north of New York City. And Bill Clinton tomorrow, Hillary Clinton today. What did we gather out of all of this? The talk early on was about how Hillary Clinton was going to approach this. Long depositions from the Clintons. It's going to be a long deposition day. I think we have a little bit of video from James Comer talking about this.
But with respect to when you look at all the co-conspirators, and we've all seen the unredacted documents, Maxwell is the main co-conspirator. No one brought more women in and lied to more women about what was going to happen with their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein than Ghislaine Maxwell. We know that obviously Maxwell was a guest at Chelsea Clinton's wedding.
Yeah, but does that really matter? I mean, we heard that she was a guest at the wedding, and that seems, well, I don't know, because didn't Hillary say all about this situation? And she went on to the BBC and talked to Jess Parker, news correspondent, about some of the connections and how she doesn't know anything, right? And
do you regret the links that there have been? You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean the links, the plane rides and the fact that, well, we'll get to the Ghislaine Maxwell thing in just a second, because if you're watching NFL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook, there's Chelsea Clinton's wedding, and there's Ghislaine Maxwell there in the audience.
Which my husband has said he took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work.
Yeah, come on, charitable work. You're going to say something about the Clintons and their charitable work? Really? Well, actually, yes, really, I have a lot of questions about the Clinton Global Initiative and charities and how money goes out to certain places to make things better and to rebuild areas of the world. And then you come to find out that everything is, it doesn't really look like it's rebuilt a whole lot.
I don't recall ever meeting him. Did
you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative.
Yeah, whoa. And again, as James Comer was talking about from the House Oversight Committee, it's like, she's at your wedding. There's a picture of Bill and Chelsea walking down the aisle, so to speak. And there's Ghislaine Maxwell in the photo. She's there. And you think maybe you take photos with a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of connection in this department where there's not a lot of connections. So, as James Comer went on to say,
there weren't many people that went to that wedding.
Yeah.
So, again, we're not accusing Hillary Clinton of wrongdoing.
Can I do that? Hey, D, am I allowed to do that? Because I think there's been a lot of wrongdoing with regard to Hillary Clinton. Now, maybe not.
I'll join with you.
Okay, thanks so much. Maybe not in this regard, as far as the Epstein stuff. But I can tell you for sure, there's been a lot going on with the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and what she did in 2016. There were a lot of connections there. And funny enough, she's still walking around the streets, hanging out in Chappaqua. Hey, by the way, when you were in Chappaqua, did you ask exactly where the location of the server was? You remember the whole server? I cleaned it, with a cloth? You remember that server? I'm just asking.
You know that Jeffrey Epstein said many times in emails that he was the first person to raise money for the Clinton Initiative, the Clinton Foundation, that he solicited money at some of his properties for the Clinton Foundation. Again, that's not saying anything's illegal, but there are a lot of questions pertaining to Secretary Clinton.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions pertaining to Secretary Clinton. So we've got some questions, and it's going to continue the questioning. And then I guess today, something went a little sort of sideways off the rails. Do we have that story? I want to see if we have this, because just a little while ago, they had to pause. The House Oversight Committee had to briefly pause there in Chappaqua during the deposition, because I guess Lauren Boebert took a picture or had a picture or found a picture or got a picture of Hillary, and Benny Johnson decided to put the picture out on his X account. And so...
Hearing just went off the record for a moment. Because it seems, as some of you may have seen, that there were some photographs shared on social media, which is against chamber rules that were read at the top of the meeting.
Yeah.
So the hearing has been paused briefly while they figure out where the photo came from and why possibly members of Congress are violating House rules. So.
Oh boy, possibly violating House rules. And so I guess Benny Johnson posted this picture of Hillary Clinton looking, I'm just going to say stoic. That's a nice way of saying it, right, D? Isn't it better than saying...
It's a good word for you.
Yeah, it's stoic. And instead of some of the other things that I've got rolling around in my brain with regard to how Hillary looked. But went off record for a moment because you had a picture taken of Hillary in this videotape deposition, and Lauren Boebert sent it to Benny Johnson. She's like, yeah, go ahead, put the picture out. And I'll show you the picture later, but she's stoic. Kind of, sort of. So anyway, that's out there. So it's going a little bit off the rails. Not really. But we'll have more on exactly what's going on with the Clintons and his deposition at a Chappaqua. And there is more to come. All right. Anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. David Moulton is one of those people. He's the pivot guy. David Moulton is your pivot man. He's the guy you go to when you need to answer the biggest questions in sports. Huge. Like, there are people that lean into the thinking in David Moulton's brain, and sometimes it just can't be challenged. There are things that pop up, like, for example, as David Moulton joins us right now on Florida's Voice, are the Miami Dolphins going to be a hot mess this year? I don't know. Things like that only David could answer.
Hey, listen, I don't like to produce your show. You have a terrific staff.
Yeah.
But maybe the poll question today should be, what's more of a hot mess? What's going on in Chappaqua, or what's going to go on this year in South Florida?
Oh, my. Okay. Is it going to be that bad for the...
Yeah.
By the way, first, before we get started, David Moulton, tell everybody what you do for a living. Why are you here, David Moulton?
Well, wait a minute. If I have to tell people what I do, I'm not sure I should be a guest.
Yeah.
Especially on this fine show. I'm a sports guy. The name of the show is Miller and Moulton. We're on a bunch of apps, iHeart, whatever. You can get us. The show airs 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. MillerandMoulton.com. Every segment is podcasted.
There you go. Excellent. All right. So I really wasn't where I was going to go today. I wanted to talk about the Rays and the stadium. We'll get to that in just a second.
Go for it.
But well, first of all, I brought up the Miami Dolphins. I mean, what are they going to do with Tua and every bit of it?
They're going to get rid of them. They're going to get rid of them. They're just trying to figure out financially how they can minimize the damage. They're going to have to assume about $99 million in dead money over the next 2 seasons. And so, they'd love to be able to get maybe, say, Anthony Richardson from the Colts in a swap and find it. Well, just to get something back for him.
Okay.
Maybe get a draft pick for somebody who wants to take him, but they're going to have to take on most of the financial part of Tua's contract. I mean, it's a mess. It didn't work out. The new regime wants to unload them, and they will.
Yeah.
Some way, shape, or form over the course of, it could happen in 3 weeks. It likely will happen officially after June 1st.
Wow.
And because of it, the Dolphins are going to take a step back this year.
Yeah.
They're going to have the cap's around $300 million. They're going to have about $125 million of, quote, dead money on their cap. So they're going to field an inferior roster, an extremely young roster. And it'll be interesting, Drew, to see if they can get their hands on a quarterback prospect of any kind, or are they just going to throw Quinn Ewers to the Wolves this year and let him get beat up and see if he could play and take their lumps.
Got it.
And
I think you have to.
Next year's draft class from a quarterback standpoint is much better than this year's draft class. So I don't think this is going to be like tanking for Tua 7 years ago, but it's going to be a completely restructuring of the deck.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, as we get ready to move on, line up, because there are tons of teams who are in the same positions. Like, what do we do about this quarterback situation? Do we fake it for 2 years and try to win some games? And of course, if you win games, you get worse draft position. And then what do you do? Because you're not going to get who you want. Or do you just try to find somebody now that could be your go-to for good, like a Mac Jones or somebody like that? And like, where do you go? So there's a lot of that going on. All right, let's pivot to baseball, because you could smell it. The spring is in the air here in the state of Florida, and there's another state where they do training. I don't know where the other state is. I don't even care. It's all about Florida. That's what I think. So
yes. There is the Cactus League in Arizona.
Yeah, and they call it the Cactus League. See, they call it the Cactus League.
I know there's no water there or anything. How good can it be?
Yeah, exactly. So
listen, enjoy this year. Not just you, but all your listeners. If you enjoy baseball in any way, shape, or form, go to a game or two. Soak this year up, because I am telling you, there's a very good chance that there's no baseball next year. There's a very good chance at least half the season will be lost next year.
What?
I mean, Bryce Harper came out just 2 days ago and was asked, is the 2027 baseball season going to start on time? And without hesitation, he said no. Okay, there's going to be a work stoppage. The owners want a salary cap. The players literally would rather stop playing than have a salary cap. It's going to be a war unlike anything we've ever seen, quite frankly, in baseball. And they've had numerous strikes. So just enjoy the 2026 season. If you can, go to a spring training game if you're near it. Okay, seriously, take it in, because there's a decent to good chance there's no baseball of any kind next year.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess on the positive silver lining side, I guess if they're going to be building a stadium near Hillsborough College, I guess they can do it uninterrupted without anybody thinking about baseball and going and thinking. So let's talk about that. So the governor said, listen, he's in. Like, he thinks that it's important for the state to build a ballpark in Tampa. Makes sense from the state's perspective. The land there at Hillsborough College. I mean, is this it? Is this the answer? Is this what we're doing?
Well, it is the answer in Tampa Bay. And Drew, I got to admit, I think this is about as transparent a last 3 months as you can have when you're mixing sports, politics, and money. The group that now owns the Rays, that group was chosen by Major League Baseball, in large part because they're so tight with Governor DeSantis. Because they're so tight with Governor DeSantis, he helped this ownership group. Governor DeSantis has been real consistent throughout his 2 terms. If you're a professional sports team, you ain't getting a dime from the state. You don't need it.
Yeah.
Don't ask. Okay. But the one thing he could do is give them some land. And so he gave them 22 acres in Hillsborough County. And they're like, thank you. We can do a lot with that. So the governor's given them about everything they can. So these guys were chosen as owners. They want to build exactly what Atlanta and the Braves built a half a dozen years ago. It's called the Battery. The Braves are making a couple of $100 million in extra revenue a year because of the Battery. A bunch of shops and pubs and restaurants and everything around the ballpark. Okay, people go there when there's no baseball. They go there hours before the game and stay a couple hours after the game because it's a fun place to be. And the Rays ownership's been very open about that, Drew. They said, we are going to copy it. And that's the only way we can really survive, because we're going to have a small stadium, probably the smallest in the majors at 30,000. And, you know, the only way we can generate the revenue we need to compete in this sport, the way the fan base wants us to compete, is we got to generate revenue away from the ballpark. So these guys are the owners. The governor's helped as much as he can. This ownership group has said to the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County, we will pay, quote, at least half of the new stadium. The last projection we had, Drew, was that this stadium and everything around it is going to cost 2.3 billion. So let's just say that the new ownership group's going to come up with 1.3, which is over half, obviously.
Right.
The big question is going to come down to this, Drew. This is what it's going to come down to. Between the city of Tampa and or Hillsborough County, are they going to come up with the billion? Are the citizens going to want them to come up with the billion? Yes or no? And this ownership group's already on record as saying, if this doesn't work out, we're going to Orlando.
Wow.
We have no choice. We have no choice.
Yeah.
Here's the other. Here's the time frame. They only have 3 years on their lease at the Trop. So they got 26, 27, 28. They need a place to play. That's not the Trop in March of 2029. That's 3 years and a month. The Braves construction project took 3 years.
Wow.
So the timeline's getting tight here, Drew. They need a shovel in the ground soon.
Right.
And indications are right now, Hillsborough County wants to make this happen. But the vote's probably going to be 4-3. Obviously, one person can change everything.
Wow.
So that's probably where we are, Drew. I think it's been very transparent, out in the open. The timeline is pressing, and I don't think there's a lot of BS here, quite frankly. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, look, compared to where we've been going and dancing around and trying to figure this all out, and now we know we have a direction. All of this sounds good. The hardest, toughest part is, I mean, when you're going to public funding and you're going to the citizens, oh boy.
And Drew, this ain't public funding. You're asking for $1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to somehow, some way. Now, as we all know, I mean, you and I originated out of Southwest Florida. I mean, you can bed taxes. You can have the tourists end up paying the $1 billion eventually over 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I mean, it's not going to mean property taxes. I mean, that'd be a suicide mission to raise people's property tax. Come on. The thing would be dead on arrival. But this is probably going to mean, tourist money, bed taxes, this, that, and the other thing. Then people are going to be like, hold on, some of that money goes to me. You're not taking that away from me. Yeah. The Tampa Bay Bucks have a 30-year-old stadium. They're sitting there with their arms crossed going,
what about us? Yeah, what about
us? Right. What are you doing for the Rays again? You just gave $400 million to the Lightning in their arena. You're going to do this for the Rays?
Yeah.
What are you doing for us? Yeah. So they're next in line. They're watching this very closely.
Yeah. Well, we all are. And clearly you do as well. All right. So we got to jump. So if people want to find out more about this incredibly knowledgeable man, David Moulton, and they're like, where can I hear him when I'm not listening to Drew and Florida's Voice? Where do I go? What? Come on. Help me out here. Stop.
Well, the funny thing is you're trying to help me out, and I think so highly of myself, I'm laughing at it. MillerandMoulton.com.
Oh, I just want people
to
know.
And if you can spell Moulton correctly, congratulations, because there's no E in Moulton. That's a clue. MillerandMoulton.com, no E in Moulton. Good luck.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck. We're going to end it on that. All right, my friend. All the best. We'll see you soon.
All right. Be well to you and your beautiful family.
All right. You as well. All right. That is David Moulton joining us here on Florida's Voice. Wow. What's going on right now in Hillsborough? That's what they say that's a big one. No doubt. All right. Some of the other things that are going on today. Going to hear a little bit from the vice president. One of the things that the Vice President JD Vance, who was talking about a lot of different economic issues, was talking about the State of the Union, was taking questions from people. It looks like at a robotics, it was like a robotics factory. I'm not sure exactly where it was. Forgive me for the moment. But he did pivot to something that I think is going to be a factor here in the state of Florida. And he talked about data centers for a while. And I wonder what the Vice President of the United States thinks is the right thing to do and the right way to go with data centers across the country. And so you're going to hear about that because it does affect us here in the state of Florida, because we've talked about this many times, the battle right now and how to regulate it and what we're going to do out of Tallahassee about data centers. Do we want them in the state? If they're going to be here in the state, man, where are you going to get the water from to cool down these mass buildings, this large swath of land and the buildings that go on that land? How big exactly is it? And then, of course, the electricity and getting on the grid. And you know how getting on the grid in some places can be treacherous at times. We've got hurricanes and the like. Well, does the vice president have some thoughts on this? He does. So do I. So maybe we'll talk about that coming up. Plus, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom on the way next.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch NFL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Anytime you want to check out Right Line. That's right, Right Line is our new venture. It's our weekend national show. Saturday mornings, we have Right Line, your national voice, streaming on X and Facebook and Instagram at Right Line News from 9 a.m. to 11. So you can catch us live on the weekends, streaming on Saturdays. And we also are on great radio stations across the country as we hit on national news. And so it's a lot of fun. The newsroom gets together in the morning and we get those headlines out to you. So Right Line, your national voice, streaming Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Make sure you check us out on X and Facebook and Instagram. You just go to Right Line News, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. All right, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom right now.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. Let's see. There it is. Anita Padilla is in the Florida's Voice newsroom. She's got the latest. Let's see what's up.
Hey there, Drew. A lot topping our news today. A Florida registered boat at the center of a deadly incident off the coast of Cuba. Miami-Dade officials cracking down on businesses with ties to the island, and Florida politics heating up with a gubernatorial candidate releasing a new campaign ad. All right, let's get right into the details. U.S. officials demanding answers after a Florida registered boat is involved in a deadly exchange of gunfire off of Cuba's coast. At least this is the information coming out of Cuba's Ministry of the Interior, which says the incident took place in the El Pino Channel in the Villa Clara province. It describes it as an armed attack against Cuban border forces. The ministry is claiming that the boat was carrying 10 armed individuals who they say were intending to carry out a terrorist infiltration, seizing assault rifles, handguns, and explosives. One of those who was supposedly involved spoke with Cuban media from the United States, saying that even though he's named by the ministry as being involved, he's in the United States and he's safe and uninjured. U.S. Attorney Jason Redding Quinones says that reports indicate 4 people on board were killed and that others were wounded. He's promising a thorough, impartial investigation to confirm if indeed U.S. citizens were actually involved. And Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez is accusing Cuba of attacking the boat, saying that he doesn't trust anything coming out of Havana. He wants U.S. officials to secure the 6 remaining Americans who are detained. And Florida's Attorney General also weighing in, saying his office is working with the federal government and local partners to find out what exactly happened, saying that the Cuban government cannot be trusted. In other news, Miami-Dade County Tax Collector Dariel Fernandez says his office has sent nearly 4,000 compliance notices to businesses that may have ties to Cuba's government. Fernandez says the action is about ensuring every business operates within local, state, and federal law, and he promises to protect the county's tax system from the illegal activity linked to the island nation. All related documents are going to be available on the tax collector's transparency website, but it's not clear how many businesses could face penalties. Now let's talk about politics right now, because Congressman Byron Donalds' gubernatorial campaign just released a new digital ad titled Trusted by Sheriffs. The spot showcases endorsements from 36 of Florida's 67 county sheriffs, highlighting Donald's law and order platform and his promise to keep communities safe. The ad is part of a 7-figure statewide media buy, and it follows his first ad, Free State, which emphasized President Trump's endorsement and his commitment to continue Governor Ron DeSantis' policies. All right, that's it for now. But coming up in our next hour, I'll be taking a look at Florida's new election integrity bill, which will require proof of citizenship for voter registration. I'll have more on that at 4:35. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, AP in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And sorry if I know the voter ID, and we're strengthening it here in the state of Florida. No, say it's not so. Yes, it is so. We'll find out more about that. And if you want to check out more of the stories that we're working on, it's simple. You go to flvoicenews.com. That's Florida's Voice, the website. Hey, it's great to have a visit with Jaime Flores, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice, the RNC Hispanic Communications Director. A lot of things I want to talk to him about today. Hey, it's great to have you back on. How are you?
Very well, Drew. It's a pleasure to be here with you and your audience. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you well. Hopefully you can hear me well as well.
Wonderful.
So we're both well.
Yes.
That is good. Okay.
Wonderful.
Hey, by the way, before we get to some of the more serious headlines that are out there that Anita Padilla was just talking about, I do want to get your impression on the State of the Union and your thoughts on the president and what he had to say.
Not only we think that the president did very, very well. He showed how the country is doing very well. The country, the State of the Union is very strong. But we were able to show Americans what the Democrats are trying to do with the country.
Right.
They, of course, they publicly admitted that for them, it is more important to protect the illegal immigrants than their own people. The people that elected them, that people that's paying taxes in this country, the people that is sponsoring everything that they do, is not important for them. For them, it's important to protect illegal immigrants. And they admitted that publicly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's such an important point that, look, there are a lot of things that the Republican Party can do that we can talk about, things that are tangible, the president and the work that he's doing. Obviously, when people get their tax bills back and they start to see that money that the no tax on tips and overtime and so many other things on the no tax on Social Security. I mean, so many things that the American people will see, and it's tangible. One thing that we do have to make sure is getting done is transparency. Let the Democrats show us who they are. Let them tell us by not standing at so many different times during the State of the Union address, to let the American people know. And then it's really up to them at that point. Democrats may just stay where they are because they have TDS, and some may stand and plant that flag and may not move. But you got independents, you've got some, I guess you could say, common sense Democrats who don't like when they see that kind of thing. So it's important we open up and show the American people who the Democrats really are.
I don't know where the Democrats are getting advice to do the things that they did at the State of the Union. But for example, being there, sitting when our hockey team, our heroes of the moment, the people that really deserve all our appreciation, and we have to be thankful to them for the very good moments that they let us have during those Olympic Winter Games. And the Democrats sat down and they completely ignored not only the sports people, the family of the victims of immigrants that killed Americans in American soil, the people that really deserve our appreciation, our solidarity, everything. And the Democrats couldn't care less about those people. I think that many Americans, most Americans, don't like that at all.
Right, I would agree. Jaime Flores is joining us on Florida's Voice, RNC Hispanic Communications Director. Just before you came on a few minutes ago, AP Anita Padilla was talking about in the newsroom off the Cuban coast and the killing and the exchange of fire of Americans and what took place there on that vessel, and so many things that we need to do. Number one, when the ministry there is giving this story in Cuba, I don't know, Jaime, maybe it's just me, but you might want to take that with a grain of salt. If the ministry there in Cuba is giving you the information, I need to know more. And I think it's very important that we find out exactly what took place.
Never mind a grain of salt, Drew. I don't believe them a word, a single word.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get advantage of the situation that they're living now. They know that they need to negotiate with the United States. They have no other option. They have no energy, they have no food, they have no nothing. The crisis is worse than it has been ever before in 67 years. And they need Americans to do that. So what they're creating now is the kind of situations that will allow them to negotiate better conditions when Americans sit down with them and try to find a solution for the Cuban people. So that's the only thing that they're trying to do.
Yeah. Are we closer, do you think, Jaime, to a solution in Cuba? Because it's been way too long, and the Cuban people have been hurt way too much for far too long. I just want to get to that point where, it's not just something we're talking about, but there's actual movement. Like, we can actually touch it. Like, there's a possibility here. There could be some good changes happening in Cuba. Do you think we can get close?
we have never been closer than what we are now for several reasons. First, because there are no other options for Cuba. Cuba lived for many years thanks to the Soviet Union. After that, they lived thanks to Venezuela, which was providing them with not only oil, but also money. They lived with tourism. They lived with the military in Cuba made rich, exploiting tourists from Europe and Canada and other places. That disappeared. They don't have that anymore. They don't have that. And the other reason that is very important, we have to take into consideration, we never had Marco Rubio as Secretary of State.
Right.
Now we have a Secretary of State who's son of Cuban refugees, Cuban people that had to come to the United States after they lost everything to try to get asylum. And he understands the situation in Cuba better than anyone. So I think that we have the real ingredients to a very prosperous solution for the Cuban people.
Yeah. I hope so. I pray that is the case. All right, Jaime, listen, always great to hear from you. All the best. God bless. Look forward to the next time we can get together, okay?
Likewise, Drew. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
All right, we'll see you soon. Jaime Flores joining us here on Florida's Voice, the RNC Hispanic Communications Director. Always appreciate a few minutes of time. Great to hear from him. Let's see what else is going on here at Florida's Voice. Yeah, I mentioned this a little bit earlier before we hit the break. The Vice President of the United States today and some of what he had to say about jobs and the State of the Union and Democrats and so many things. And I wanted to bring this one point up because obviously there is a lot of talk here in the state of Florida about what we would do with regard to data centers. You know, there are people that are adamant about not having them here at all. I was just looking at a story. I want to say it was in the Orlando Sentinel, if I'm not mistaken, about this. The data center boom coming to Florida. Is it coming? And what does the industry say? And the 3 things to know about and how we could possibly do this with regard to the need for water and the need for electricity, all of these different things. And obviously that, you know, you have the AI aspect of this, but also when it comes to data centers, listen, you like your Amazon? You like how Amazon gets to your door and is it 30 minutes or less? Is that how they do that? Or is that the pizza? I think 30 minutes or less that's the
Domino's?
Yeah, anyway, the point is that the vice president was talking about this today, and here's what he had to say about data centers.
News and the bad news with data centers. Now, the good news is, you know, first of all, they're big facilities. You create a lot of construction jobs. And this next generation of the technological revolution, you need those data centers to make that run. Those data centers are like the gasoline of the technology revolution that we're going to see over the next 75 years. And I don't know about you all, but I want America to win that technology revolution. I don't want China or some other country to win it. And so that's why we got to have these things. Now, here's the downside. If those centers are built and the local governments aren't ensuring that there's enough power for those data centers, then it's going to increase electricity costs for everybody else. And so what we think the data centers have got to do is they've got to work with the local governments, with the state governments, and in the federal government, we are trying to do everything that we can so that if you build a data center, for example, you can just build a power plant right next door. What I think we ought to be working towards is you build those data centers and electricity costs come down for American citizens instead of going up for American citizens. The data centers can afford it. We got to make sure that they're good neighbors so that when they come in and build these great buildings, the people in their neighborhood, the people in their community benefit too, and that's through lower power. That's the best way they can be good neighbors.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of aspects to that. Number one, lower power costs for your neighbors in the vicinity. So imagine the state of Florida, a data center is on an area of land, and the community gets to enjoy lower electricity prices because maybe they have a modular nuclear reactor. I know it freaks people out. Nuclear, they're small. It's not like 3 Mile Island. Don't get that out of your head. It's not like that. Or they're doing something to get off the grid so that, let's just say, if there is a hurricane, that data center can still run. And oh, by the way, while it is running, and if it has more electricity to offer, it can continue to keep the community off the grid, but on the grid. But then there would be less pressure on the grid because there would be less people on the grid. See, there are some benefits to talk about, but I was glad to hear the Vice President.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans. But many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Yeah, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Dad.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on JNC Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, JNC Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
A Florida convenience store manager was arrested this week for allegedly stealing more than $300,000 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets in a scam that netted him almost $5.
Hey, D, there's kind of some truth to that, right? I mean, I don't know. I know there are people that like win a lot of money with the scratch-off lottery tickets, but I don't know any of them. Have you ever met somebody who's won a ton of money off the scratch-off lottery?
A couple hundred maybe.
Yeah, me neither. To me, I know, again, I'm not disparaging it. Well, sort of. Not really, but the point is that the big, huge, honking winners in scratch-off lotteries that you hear about is kind of the same way when somebody, D, says to you, the polling on this candidate says blah, 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 and, they did it via phone call or they did it via, knocking on your door. And it's like, I've never met a pollster. I never get those calls. I never hear anything like that. Have you ever met somebody in your whole entire life that got polled by somebody or, had...
No.
Yeah, me neither. Like, you start to think that it doesn't exist. Like, that's the kind of thing. It's like big, huge lottery winnings from a scratch-off ticket. The idea that somebody actually picked up a phone and made a call and said, hey, I'm from so-and-so polling corporation. Would you mind if I talk? Hello? Hello? Is this on? That kind of thing. Anyway. All right, anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah, I wanted to talk about it. Later, we're going to talk about how I think we have some really... Actually, I know we have some really, really good news out there. I know sometimes, you're not sure about what's going on with affordability. You're not sure what's happening this election cycle. You're not sure whether or not we're going to be able to save the republic, that we have enough people that are going to be patriotic in this country. They want to be part of the fabric of the country, that we can save the republic. I think we've got a hint as to where we're heading, and D, it is good. Really good.
I like good.
Yeah, this is some really good news. I'm just checking the clock to see. I can't talk about it now because it's going to take a little more time than we have to dig in, but I'm looking, we've got a loaded show. So next hour, I think next hour I'll bring it up. Or maybe the 5 o'clock hour. I don't know. You're just going to have to stick around, but it's really good. As opposed to some of the other things that are going on, like the fact that we're still arguing and debating and talking about right now the filibuster. We're still talking about John Thune and what he's talking about with regard to whether or not we're going to be able to have a talking filibuster to get the Save America Act through, the 50+1 votes we need. And John Thune was being asked about this. He keeps changing his mind. Right after the State of the Union, it's like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then all of a sudden, he was talking just a little while ago, well, not today, but earlier, and he's like...
What's your message to the Republicans in your conference who are pushing over and over again that you can do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Filibuster.
Well, there are a couple things about that. One is, once we get on, if we were to go down that path, it's very hard to pivot and get back to open up the government.
Okay. Does anybody really feel like the government shut down? I mean, we know what's going on right now, and you're telling me you can't walk and chew gum at the same time? You can't do multiple things at once?
I frankly think we ought to. We need a deal, make sure that DHS, TSA, Coast Guard, FEMA, all those agencies are funded.
Okay, well, work on it together.
And so I'm hopeful there will be a breakthrough on that. That's going to require some... obviously cooperation from the Democrats, which we haven't seen a lot of so far.
Right.
But we want to get to the SAVE Act. We also, as I mentioned, we've got a housing bill.
Okay. He brought up the housing bill, and you're like, well, what housing bill? What is he talking about? Today, they passed a Democrat-led housing bill, more housing through HUD, and they passed it like some crazy number. A Democrat-run bill. What's going on here?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements. and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories